wisdom, should have wisdom, wisdom, should have wisdom, wisdom, should have wisdom. Flatline my mind, so I can be reborn again. Pronounce me DOA, so my new vessel won't sin. This world is frozen, global corrosion is eating everyone alive, except for the Most High's chosen people. And ain't no sequel in the end time. The Hebrew Israelites, hit your rock your enzymes. Let me define my mind. It's not that complicated. He that has an enter here, his mental will be elevated. Simply stated, I was intoxicated and inebriated by the old me until I was emancipated. The shield of wisdom helps to purge out the schism within the body. Cause human nature taught me to be naughty and hardy. The words of hooker and it's got a big disease, but I got spiritual medication so my soul can be at ease. We got the shield, we got the helmet and the sword. We got to kill that old man so we can kick it with the Lord. Brother, can't you see it? Wisdom, what the truth have done for me? Taught me nationality. Brother, can't you see it? Brother, can't you see it? What the truth have done for me? Taught me nationality. Brother, can't you see it? Brother, can't you see it? What the truth have done for me? Taught me nationality. Brother, can't you see it? Brother, can't you see it? What the truth have done for me? Taught me nationality. Brother, can't you see it? Judah, Negroes, Benjamin, West Indians, Levi, Haitians, Simeon, Dominicans, Zebulon, Holland to Panama, Ephraim, Puerto Ricans, Manasseh, Cubans, North American Indians, Reuben, Seminole Indians, Naphtali, Argentinians and Chileans, Asher, Colombia, the Uruguay, Issachar, Mexicans. Wake up, Judah, 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 wake up.
Welcome to Shield of Wisdom. I'm your host, Priest Style Wine. We will continue on part 2 of the devastation of the 10 tribes of Israel right here in the Western Hemisphere, in Canada, America, Central and South America, and the islands, Caribbean islands, and so forth. And I have my special guest today. I have Raj Malak,
Shalom,
of the tribe of Zebulon. I have my brother Farah Adawan from the tribe of Benjamin. I have my brother Ban Ashar from the tribe of Asher. So we're dealing with this heavy topic. We're going to be reading from a book called Bartholomew de las Casas. It's a short account of the destruction of the Indies. And I'm going to continue because we only have a certain amount of time. And I'm going to start on verse 97, continue. In this book, it says, without any provocation, they seized the king of the whole province and set about wringing gold out of him by torture. He escaped and fled to the mountains in open revolt against his tormentors. Throughout the territory, the people were absolutely terrified and went into hiding in the mountains and the surrounding countryside. The Spaniards mounted expeditions to hunt them down, and when they found them, killed many. Auctioning the survivors as slaves, so they sold them as slaves. Therefore, and before they seized the king, wherever they ventured throughout the territory, the Spaniards had been warmly welcomed with singing and dancing, and with many unsolicited gifts of gold. They gave them gold. In return, the Spaniards set about terrorizing the entire province by slitting the throats of their benefactors and dismembering them with their swords, cut them up into pieces. On one occasion, one of these German black guards forced a crowd of locals who had come to greet him in the manner we have described into a large building made of thatch, and then ordered his men to cut them to pieces. Some of those inside managed to clamber on the roof beams of the building in an attempt to place themselves beyond the reach of the bloodthirsty brutes who were mercifully belaboring the crowd with their swords. But this hellhound gave orders for the building to be fired, and those that had escaped the mayhem going on below were burned alive. Many towns and settlements were abandoned as the local people, learning of this massacre, fled to the hills in an attempt to escape such butchery. In another large province on the borders of the kingdom of Santa Marta, the local people were going about their usual business at home and in the fields where the Europeans arrived. When the Europeans arrived, for a time, the visitors graciously allowed the natives to treat them as honored guests and to dance attendance upon them as if they were about to have eternal life bestowed upon them by their gods. During this period, the poor people patiently bore the many indignities and intolerable burdens which the European presence imposed upon them, for once of their newcomers will wolf down in one day enough food and drink to support a local family of 10 for a whole month. Wow. The people also regaled the Europeans with many gifts of gold, as well as doing them innumerable other services. When the time came for the tyrants to leave, they elected to pay for their board and lodging in the following way. The German governor, who was anyway, in my opinion, a heretic, never going himself to mass, preventing others from doing so and giving other indications of Protestantism, ordered that as many of the locals as possible should be seized, including women and children, and driven into a stockade which he had built expressly for this purpose. He then let it be known that the prisoners would only be released if they arranged for a ransom to be paid directly to the unspeakable governor. So much for a man, and then so much for his wife, and so much for each child. To ensure that his victims were responsive to his demands, he also decreed that no prisoner should be fed until his or her ransom had been paid. Many of the prisoners sent home for gold, and if they could raise the necessary ransom, paid it, and promptly set off home in search of food and expected to resume their normal lives. The villain then sent a number of his hoodlums to seize the poor devils and throw them back into the stockade, where they were forced to endure all over again the miseries of thirst and hunger until they were ransomed a second time. Many were released and re-imprisoned 2 or 3 times, while others who could not raise the price asked because they had already parted with all the gold in their possession, were simply left in the stockade to die of hunger.
Wow.
These are the things that happened during the time of the Inquisition, of the conquering, the so-called murdering of the people that was here in the Western Hemisphere. It's sad.
Como se han dado cuenta, es igual lo que seguimos leyendo. Aquí acaba de leer el hermano que los españoles y los 2 de europeas que venían aquí seguían con lo mismo, nomás era de manipularlos y robarlos por todas las cosas de valor que teníamos, como hemos dicho antes. Cuando vinieron los europeos, vinieron y hicieron jaulas especialmente hechas para los hombres, las mujeres y los varones, y lo que hizo es los metió ahí y dijo que los que querían que los dejaran ir libres, los papás o los amigos, tenían que venir y pagarle por oro, y para asegurar que les pagaran en oro, no dejaba que comieran o tomaran hasta que vinieran y les pagaran, cuánto por un hombre, cuánto por una mujer y cuánto por cada criatura.
Y si querían también los pusieron en la cárcel como 2 o 3 veces, los europeos pensando que nosotros teníamos más oro, pero el oro en un tiempo se acabó. Entonces, si no teníamos el oro, los dejaban en la cárcel para morir de hambre, así como lo hacen hoy ahora, como morir de hambre.
Assim, irmãos, assim os europeus nos botavam em uma jaula como animal, nos tratavam como animal em troca de ouro, né? E nossas almas, onde ficam, né? Então, nos tratavam assim em busca de ouro e nos botavam presos aí na jaula, e para ter seguridade que a gente ia vir com ouro, eles nos deixavam lá até que morrêssemos de fome, para que tivesse seguro que o ouro estava vindo. Animais.
Animales.
We'll look at Ezekiel 35 and 5 and 6.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, verse 5 and 6. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
Right, so he's talking to the ones that came here to this land and murdered, incorporated, and destroyed the people. You know, 'cause they were Spaniards. It's this Spaniard is telling a story, and whose name is Bartolome de las Casas in this book, a short account of the destruction of the Indies. In this book here, you can get it yourself. And this is what he's saying concerning the Most High is saying this to them. Read.
Verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord our power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sitteth thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Right, so since they didn't hate blood, the bloodshed that they said, say even blood's going to pursue them for future prophecy. Verse 8 and 9.
Verse 8. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, and thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword.
This prophecy of the Most High. This the Most High, the creator of all power, Abba Nawa, our Father. He's telling this to you. This is just a result of what has happened. Read.
I will make thee perpetual desolation.
They're going to make you a perpetual desolation, just as we was made a perpetual desolation. Go ahead.
And thy cities shall not return. And ye shall know that I am the Lord, our power.
That's right. So you're going to know the Most High, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. He said that's his name forever, for all memorials, to all generations, unto this day.
Amen.
Ezequiel 35:5. Por cuanto tuviste enemistad perpetua y engrastes a los hijos de Israel.
Ajá, por todo el odio que tuvo a los hijos de Israel y toda la maldad que los hizo a los hijos de Israel, ¿ve?
Al poder de la espada en el tiempo de su aflicción y en el tiempo de estrenamiento malo.
En el tiempo malo de nosotros que habíamos salido de los mandamientos, por eso ellos tuvieron poder que Dios le dio para atacarnos a nosotros en la temporada que estamos de indígenas, porque no sabíamos, se los había olvidado que éramos Israel. Así que Dios dijo que porque los ataques durante esa temporada.
6. Por tanto, vivo yo, dice Yahweh, el Señor, el poder, que hay sangre destinare y sangre de pesigara. Y porque la sangre no aborreciste, sangre te perseguirá.
Ajá, sí, le gusta tanto la sangre, le gusta matar a la gente, entonces muerte lo perseguirá a esa nación de gente todo para siempre.
Y llenaré sus montes de sus muertos.
Ajá, todos los terrenos de ellos, sea de donde sea que vivan en el mundo. Esto es profecía de lo que le va a pasar.
En tus callades, en tus vales y en todos tus arroyos serán muertos a espada. Yo te pondré en asolamiento por puesto, a tus ciudades nunca más se restarán y sabréis que yo soy Yahweh el poder. So hay que saber también que Dios, leyendo esto, hay que saber que Dios es el único que los puede salvar. Y también saber que a ellos también le va a pasar esto al tiempo del Señor.
Ok. Verso 35, capítulo 5. Ezequiel. Pois que guardas a inimizade perpétua e abandonaste os filhos de Israel, a violência da espada no tempo da extrema iniquidade. Versículo 6. Por isso vivo eu, diz Yahshua, que te prepararei para o sangue, e o sangue te perseguirá, visto que não aborreceste o sangue, o sangue te perseguirá. Forte. 35, capítulo 7. E farei do monte Seir uma extrema assolação, e exterminarei dele o que por ele passa, por ele volta. Ou seja, isso quer dizer, e farei do monte ser uma extrema assolação, exterminando, matando o que por ele passa e o que por ele volta. Capítulo 8. E encherei os seus montes dos seus trapassados, nos teus outeiros e nos teus vales, em todas as tuas correntes. Cairão os trapassados à espada. 9. Em assolações perpétuas te porei, e as tuas cidades nunca mais serão habitadas. Assim sabereis que eu sou Yahshua.
Amen.
Man. So we're going to look once again on page 99 of the book of Bartholomew de las Casas, a short account of the destruction of the Indies. And I'm going to continue. It says, in this fashion, the whole province, once populous and rich in gold, was devastated, ravaged, and depopulated. In the valley, some 40 leagues in extent, a whole settlement of 1,000 houses was razed to the ground. This same hellhound then decided to strike inland. His satiable appetite whetted by the prospect of an overland route to the hell that is Peru. And they sold a lot of us in Peru. It says, brought us on ships and took us to Peru. It said, on this dreadful journey, he took with him a vast number of native bears, shackled together and each weighed down by a load of 3 or 4 orobus. Wherever one of these poor wretches fainted from hunger or became too exalted to carry on, they cut his head from his body at the point where the iron collar bound him to his companions, so as not to have to waste time unshackling him from the bears to either side of him. His head would fall to one side and his decapitated body to the other, and his load would then be distributed among his fellows, adding to their already heavy burdens. To set out in detail the vast tracts of land he ravaged, the towns and villages he burned to the ground, for all the houses are built of thatch. The people he slaughtered and the atrocities he committed en route in place after place would be to produce an account that nobody would believe. Only too terrible, true through it would be. Our adventurers from Venezuela to San Marta were to pass that way on their holy pilgrimage to the golden shrine of Peru. And even they, seasoned campaigners that they were shocked and appalled by the grim trail of destruction blazed by this butcher over a distance of 200 leagues or more, turning what had been a fertile and populated area into one vast scorched wasteland. Witnesses to all these events have given evidence before the legal advisor to the Council of the Indies, and the Council now has incontrovertibly proof of the truth of their allegations. Yet, not one single hellhound has been burned at the stake. Indeed, the justices have proved unpardonably deaf to the many accounts placed before them of the atrocities perpetrated by these foul and despicable murderers and the damage they have done. Ignoring the crimes themselves, they concentrate their attention instead on assessing the financial losses incurred by the crown as a result of the atrocities and massacres carried out by the individuals identified by witnesses. In arriving at estimates of this kind, reliable eyewitness accounts are totally discounted. All that seems to be required is a general statement of what was taking place, and such general statements tend to be hazy and unspecific. The justices seem not to know how to investigate even the financial aspect of these atrocities at all, accurately or professionally. If they did so as conscientious servants of God and the crown, they would quickly discover that these German villains had embezzled crown revenues to the tune of over 3 million gold castelli.